Hello, everyone, and welcome to another session of Café New Canadians, 10 Years in Canada, a walk down memory lane with Gerard Keledjian. This is the last session of Café New Canadians for this year, after which we will be taking a holiday break to return back in January. Café New Canadians, as you know, is brought to you by New Canadians, which is a TV program for newcomers to Canada. It's broadcast on Omni Television, on YouTube, and also available on the website on newcanadians.tv. So you can access the program on the web, on YouTube, as well as on Omni TV across Canada. So I'm Gerard Keledjian. I'm the managing director of New Horizons Media, the parent company for New Canadians. And I'm also the executive producer and co-host of New Canadians. And today I'm actually honored to speak to three amazing individuals. Shelly, the executive director of the Mennonite New Life Center of Toronto, Daisy Wright, the certified career coach and best-selling author, and Gabriela, Casineanu, career coach and award-winning author. Three amazing individuals who have played a crucial role since I moved to Canada in my journey here across the past decade. And that journey is what we're celebrating today. And they will help me, or they will ask me questions, and they will help know more about Gerard and what I believe in and my vision. So as I said, we're celebrating the journey today of me moving to Canada exactly 10 years ago today. And by the way, if you have any questions throughout the hour, feel free to type them in the chat box and YouTube. You can ask also questions directly to me or as well to any of the other speakers. And we will be all happy to answer your questions. So going back 10 years ago, this is the first photo of me in Canada. I moved in permanently in on December 17th, 2010. And that's how the journey started, with big excitement. And we will be talking about different kind of occasions or milestones and ups and downs throughout those years in the next hour. And celebrate also everything Canadian about me, about New Canadians, about all of us. If I want, and once again, thank you all for joining as well. I can't remember if I thanked you initially. It's because of the excitement, I guess. If I want to summarize, before joining the panelists, if I want to summarize my journey or my philosophy in Canada, I would borrow a quote from one of my favorite authors, Paulo Coelho, that when you really want something, all the universe, all the powers will conspire to help you achieve it. The past 10 years were obviously not easy, and there were lots of downs as there were ups, and the challenges do continue till today. But there's the will, there's the willingness, there's the persistence, and to overcome them. And all that is always made possible with the help of amazing people like Shelly, like Daisy, and like Gabriela, who are joining me today. And there are many others as well. Obviously, not everyone could join today or this session specifically. Just for the next few minutes, I want to take you down the memory lane, as the title of today's session says, and give you an idea about different times or occasions in my journey. So, as I said, I moved in December 2010, and my Canadian experience, which I'll be talking a bit later with Daisy as well, was my volunteering experience at Rogers TV, where I built my local Canadian media experience and launched a TV program for newcomers, the predecessor of New Canadians, just for the city of Toronto at that time. And that all put me on the right track to reach where I am today, or to achieve many of the things that I've been able to achieve. And also through the program and after the program, I got connected with the Mennonite New Life Center, which helped me in many ways, and also even awarded me at some point, which I'm thankful for. It helped me gain my confidence through building a network for immigrant journalists and media professionals, through connecting me to a network of immigrant professionals, which are part of TRIEX Immigrant Professionals Network, and launching, as I said, the network for media professionals. All this happened because of the help, or because I got connected, the universe connected me with MNLCT, which is the acronym for the center. And it also gave me opportunities for visibility, to speak, to share my thoughts, to share my experience, to share my vision. And speaking about awards, also through the PINs, through the Professional Immigrant Networks, I got awarded by another organization as well for the Pioneers for Change Awards. And that helped me as well, giving me kind of more opportunities, even further, bigger opportunities for visibility. And the reason I'm sharing this, to inspire others as well, and stress or emphasize the importance of organizations such as this and opportunities. I will kind of cover all these points later through the journey. And the peak point, I would say, or what I would be kind of most proud of, is when using all this experience, all these connections, all this support, all this help, all this advice and assistance, I was able to launch New Canadians nationally in 2015, and be able to help all newcomers to Canada, as well as online other newcomers who are still overseas, who are on their way to come here to join the big Canadian family. And very quickly, I would like to thank as well the Dean of the Chang School at Ryerson in 2015. She's not there anymore, who was crucial in making that happen. She was very direct in believing in what I was proposing, what I was asking, believing in my vision, and giving me the tool or the seed money to make that happen. And also, I want to thank others who have helped me throughout the journey, other than whoever I mentioned today. Organizations that have helped me achieve other activities, other projects, such as the Immigrant Business Expo. And without them, I wouldn't be, obviously, or we wouldn't be as an organization, we wouldn't be where we are today. So coming back to the points, I would very quickly go over a few of my mistakes and probably my tips, and I would discuss them kind of more in detail or certain points with the speakers who have joined me today. And some of the mistakes for me was, or the major mistake was that I didn't have the right preparation for Canada. Remember that we were talking about the period between 2006 and 2010 when resources such as New Canadians were not available online and were not kind of accessible as well as they are today. And I had prepared for 4 years, but about 2 weeks after I came, immediately I realized that it was the wrong preparation. Completely, I've missed the first phase. I was prepared for what was going to be a second phase in my journey in Canada. And that threw me into complete confusion and loss of confidence for about 18 months at least, and even more. Some of the consequences, and plus the expectation also that the job search was going to be easy, as many other immigrants share this mistake with me, and obviously because I wasn't prepared the right way. I didn't have the right strategy as well, or even I would say that I didn't have a strategy to kind of move on to plan B or plan C. I just had plan A. I worked for an American company, so how difficult it would be in Canada to find a job to establish myself. And all this feeling of confusion, loss, feeling stuck, not knowing how to proceed, how to move forward, created two Gerards in reality. One was the public Gerard that everyone saw, the confident, the strong, the courageous Gerard that was very successful, and the other Gerard at the inside that I didn't know where I was going, what was happening. So here we are today. Kind of I summarize the points. I have tips as well to give. Probably I'll ask the panelists to turn on their cam so that we can discuss these tips, these mistakes with them, and I'll go with my tips later in the session. So Gabriela, Shelly, Daisy, please turn on your cameras, and I'll turn on the camera, the gallery view, so that everyone can see you and could join me in welcoming you to this session. So thank you for being me here and for being with me on this day, as you have been with me throughout the past 10 years. I was fortunate to know you, thanks to the universe, I guess, that has made us cross paths and meet you earlier in my journey, and so that I was able to reach where I am today and hopefully where I want to go next. So thank you to all of you. Daisy, I would like to start with you. I know you tried to resist asking me questions, but I will put you on the spotlight. And I met you through my volunteering experience. So that's one of the benefits as well of strategic volunteering. I volunteered for a media organization, the only volunteering opportunity actually, which was not very big, I have to say, but I didn't leave, and I continued till I figured out a way after 2-3 months of me being there, and feeling down at some points because the volunteering opportunities, understandably, were very low because of the mandate of the channel that doesn't take into consideration internationally educated media professionals. Their mandate was for community members. But I stuck there, and I was able to do that. I mean, to make it materialize. And through that volunteering opportunity, I met you. What do you remember about that day? And what do you have to say about what I shared, through what you've seen, what you've observed through the 10 years?
Well, first of all, congratulations. 10 years, 10 years is a long time to some degree, and sometimes it's a short time. But it has been a pleasure to know you. And I remember when we met, it was at the city, was it the City Hall in Toronto with
We
one of the
met at
pin. Was it
we met
camp?
at the yes, we met at Camp Networking's event,
Yes.
and it was at North York Civic Center, actually.
Yes, that's where I'm
Some
thinking. Yes.
sometime in February 2012, if I'm not mistaken, and
Yes.
it was a coincidence, by the way. I didn't know that you would be the guest speaker that day. But what impressed me, or what made an impact with me on me that day, that I had kind of started building my Canadian media experience, local experience, but didn't exactly know, wasn't seeing kind of the broad picture, or didn't know all the elements that were constructed that experience. And your presentation that day, which was named Bold,
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of made it crystal clear that what I need to do and how I need to do it. So thank you for that presentation, by the way. That was
You're
the first
welcome.
impact I have to say, and it all started from there, I guess. And we
Yeah.
managed to keep in touch and grow that experience. So
Oh, for sure. And I think you actually exhibit that boldness. So even though you're speaking in terms of, who we saw one Gerard and didn't know the other one, you actually exhibited that boldness. And that's what we try, you and I, and everybody here, try to tell the new immigrants that you have value, but you need to see it in yourself, and we are there to encourage. So I'm actually glad that you remembered, because I know I presented and I wasn't even sure what it was, but obviously that stuck. And you have lived that boldness, and you have achieved so much. And to me, you are an example of what it means to come in, to face challenges, and yet to move beyond those challenges, to surround yourself with people who will encourage you, who will tell you that yes, you can do it. And I think that's what I really, really have come to love about you and your attitude. And I think that has taken you here, and it's going to take you, really, really far. So I'm so glad. I'm glad that we met, actually. And honestly, I tell people that you're my friend, and that's so true. Whenever I introduce him to anybody, I said, Gerard is my friend, and I know that's true.
I'm honored to have you as my friend as well, and also as my mentor. And having a mentor, or mentors, actually, would be one of my tips as well to other newcomers and other immigrants. And by mentor, I don't mean necessarily formal relationships, formal mentoring relationships, friends or good contacts who you can reach out to whenever you have a question, you need some support. Maybe you need someone to lift your mood up that day, to check some things. And so thank you throughout the years for all the advice and all the support you've given. And I forgot to mention as well, other than your presentation, your book, No Canadian Experience, has been very informative to me, and has helped me as well articulate the idea of Canadian experience to other newcomers that I regularly meet on every day, now virtually, of course. So maybe we can use this this opportunity to briefly explain Canadian experience, maybe based on my experience as well, of what other newcomers can do, and what is this thing called Canadian experience exactly? How you can build it?
Okay, you're asking me or Gabriela? Asking me.
To you, yeah.
Okay.
You're
Well,
not escaping my.
I know Gabriela has her own interpretation of Canadian experience, but what it is it's obvious, right? You're new to Canada and you don't have Canadian experience. You have never worked in Canada. But I see it as a trick question, or a tricky way of saying, wow, we can't hire you because you don't have that experience. And my philosophy around that is the employer does not know you. So the responsibility is on you to tell them what your successes have been, what your success stories have been, how you were able to help your former company make money, save money, and all of that. But it's also a point where the moment you hear that no Canadian experience, you admit it. That's true. I don't have Canadian experience. However, how can I use my international experience to blend with your Canadian with your Canadian staff? We can have a partnership here where I can use my experience along with those who already have Canadian experience and help make money for you. So it's not something that a newcomer should shy away from. They should be, yes, admit that they don't have it, but then don't let that be the end of the conversation. Bring the conversation on to say, let's see how we can work together, as opposed to seeing it as a negative.
Thanks.
That's my version. Yeah.
Yeah, and there are many opportunities. That would be another tip I would give as well. Like, I would second you what you said, and there are many opportunities to create local experience and to showcase one's skills as an immigrant, and those opportunities would help in regaining your confidence, rebuilding your confidence, and also showcasing your skills to others.
Yeah, but you did that. You did that with your Rogers volunteer work. So there goes an example.
Yeah, it's difficult. I know there's some more support now, a bridging program for media that was not there when I came, unfortunately. And so I will be talking about that with Shelly. But yeah, I could either have surrendered or gave up, that no media organization accepts volunteers, for example, or job shadowing, or kind of try to create some kind of opportunity, even if modest at the beginning, which happened at a community channel at Rogers TV in Toronto, which 3-4 years later I was able to, with the help of others, to take it national. So maybe I'll give you a break here. And
well, before we break, I just want to make sure that everybody knows that it's not a one-way. This was never a one-way arrangement. I have benefited from you so much because you were the first person to allow me to even be on Omni Television. I was meeting people and they say, "Oh, I saw you on TV." I said, "Excuse me?" And then I realized, so it's not a one-way street. I was not the only one who was in his corner. He has always been in my corner as well. And I thank you for
Thank,
that.
yeah. And I should book you as well for more segments on TV because you have lots to share and lots to help newcomers. And with always, I mean, myself and the rest of the team at New Canadians, we will be very happy to be the messenger and take that information, that helpful information to other newcomers in Canada and overseas, because information is very crucial. It makes or breaks your journey in Canada. I struggled a lot because I didn't know, and because I didn't know, it kind of threw me into that cycle of no confidence, no belief in my judgment, and for about like a year and a half, and that's painful, financially, obviously, but also emotionally, and it takes years for all the consequences to kind of go away or get minimized. I'm not sure if they go away fully. So I'll just give you a short break here.
Yes, of
Maybe you can
course.
think of another question you can ask me later.
Will
So
do.
Shelly, I'll jump into you. And
Hello.
you personally and the center, the Mennonite New Life Center or MNLCT, were very, very crucial, and I'm always grateful in wherever I would be or wherever in whatever role I'll be always very grateful to MNLCT for being there when I needed it most, and being I would say, the lighthouse that guided me to the beginning of the right track. I had been in when I first kind of got in touch with someone from MNLCT was about 6-7 months after I moved to Canada. So after all that kind of struggle, even depression, I would say, to some extent, that was the beginning of the seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and being able to kind of design or draft that roadmap, kind of design those tools, and be able to slowly, gradually proceed forward. So what do you remember from kind of, and also I should thank, I mentioned earlier, the opportunities that the center gave, both in terms of visibility. My first speaking opportunity in Canada was, my first two opportunities was because of the center. And it was the first time I felt very thirsty because I got so stressed while speaking. And the water jug was away from me. I was so shy to ask for water, and later also we collaborated on many other projects, and the biggest of which was collaborating to launch a bridging program for media and communications in Canada. So the mic is yours, and you are same as Daisy. You can reflect on the first time we met, maybe, or what you have observed throughout these 10 years, and also it's your chance to ask questions as well. Use it.
Fair enough. Well, thank you, Gerard, for the wonderful introduction, and it's that trip down memory lane. 100%. There were so many moments that you were talking about, from the Community Impact Award to the Beyond Canadian experience. For me, Gerard, first of all, right off the bat, congratulations. 10 years here in Canada. It's a huge celebration for sure, and so honored to be asked to walk with you, if you will, as you reflect back. You know, for me, Gerard, when I came to the center, it pretty much was 10 years ago. So you've been part of, you know, the inner workings of the Mennonite New Life Center. And in my head and in my heart, you're a kindred spirit. You're a co-conspirator, if you will. Just a couple of days ago, you know, we picked up the phone and I'm like, hey, I've got this idea or I've got this thing. It feels so natural. And for that, you know, I'm grateful. I know the center is grateful, and equally as important, you know, your contributions to newcomer awareness, newcomer voices, the presence of and the contributions of newcomer communities, not just in the life you lead, but also how you've helped others. And you brought up the bridging program. I think that one is very poignant for me. I don't know about for you, because we'd been talking up until that point in time, you know, hey, we should do a bridging program. Hey, we should, you know, make this happen. And when the opportunity finally arose, you know, you and I sat down and we envisioned a program that would take internationally trained media and communications professionals from one place of, you know, how do they network and how do they connect with the Canadian media landscape? And together we mapped it out. And here we are 3 years later. You're co-founder of that program. You're in the life and the breath of it, if you will. You support the participants that come out of that program. And we're 3 years in. In April, we will have completed 3 years of that program. So one of many examples of how you've contributed to the Canadian media landscape. So, but I have a question for you. Came out
Sure.
of the video, and you know, I'm often interested because of our work as a settlement agency. Why Canada? Why did you choose Canada? Like when I see you as that in that picture where you're sitting there or you're kneeling there in the Canadian snow, I'm like, why Canada, Gerard?
So there are many reasons why Canada, but some of the reasons that I think I can say would be I've heard all good about Canada, and just before moving, I had the opportunity to go to Australia as well, which would have been the other country that I could have moved to, or I could have thought of moving to when I was working in Dubai. And the difference was clear. Canada is more welcoming. Geographically, it's closer to my home country and to my brother in the US, and to build a life that I would be proud of, in the sense that I've grown up in my grandparents were refugees on both sides. So my parents have experienced that trauma, that life. I was born and grew up in a war country, and I wanted to live and contribute and achieve in a country where allows me to do that, and where I have the chances to do that as well. Plus, I have to say as well, in working in Dubai, I got used to working in a multicultural environment, and even I couldn't see Lebanon, my home country, after that the same way. I wanted that multicultural environment that Canada is offering. So there are many reasons, obviously, but I'm happy that I chose Canada. So I'm always proud to say I'm a Canadian by choice. And I'm happy that I chose Canada because I met all the amazing people that are around me throughout these years and today.
Well, I was going to follow that. I was going to follow that question up with, would you do it all again? But it sounds like you probably would.
Yes, I would do that all again. Obviously, I would be better. I would try to be better prepared, or prepared the right way, and avoid some of the mistakes I did. And that's one of the main reasons as well why I initially launched the volunteer TV program for newcomers as a volunteer, and then I insisted, based on the feedback, how well it was received, I insisted on taking it beyond the city of Toronto, across Canada and the world online, so that no other newcomer repeated my mistakes, at least, if not other mistakes as well, because Canada is a very nice country, a very beautiful country, full of opportunities. It's just a matter of understanding the country. This is based on my experience. That initial period, yes, it's a struggle, no matter how well you're prepared, but it takes some effort as well to understand, to connect, to grow roots. And not all newcomers are able to do so successfully, or are willing to do so, in the case of some. And I wanted to help through what I could, using my skills. I know storytelling, I know sharing information, I know capturing stories, and I wanted to share that and help others, and by helping others, by creating opportunities for others, helping myself as well at the same time, because it's all somehow reflects back on you as well. Whatever good seeds you plant, then you harvest those. And I wanted to create opportunities bigger than what I enjoyed initially, and or easier opportunities, so that all newcomers at least avoid my mistakes, and be better prepared to be on their Canadian journey. Because if they succeed, it reflects on all the country. And this is all of you, I'm sure you know all of this already. And yeah, that's the main one of the main reasons to launching the show, to doing the work I do, because the mistakes I made mainly in the first 18 months, were easily avoidable had I known some information that I knew later, or I used some resources or tools that I used later.
Yeah.
I knew later, and it saddens. Like, we spoke about bridging programs, and I use that as an example. Back in the normal days before COVID, when there were in-person events, one newcomer in Mississauga, it was a job fair in Mississauga where I was kind of exhibiting, and he had been in Canada around 16, 17 months, and he was an engineer. He was completely lost, and no jobs, obviously, no meaningful jobs, and no similar to where I was years earlier, and easily he could have taken one of 3 bridging programs that are for engineers in the Greater Toronto area, and he would have been in a much better position than where he was at the time when he was talking to me. Of course, I gave him where he could find those resources and where we spoke, but it was just one-on-one. Through the work I do, I want to scale up that into and take it to everyone in Canada and overseas.
Well, that's exemplified in your Café New Canadians work as well, because you bring all of this wealth of information around resources to newcomer communities, and while, yeah, sure, there's ways to get that information, you make it just so simple through Café New Canadians. And correct me if I'm wrong, Café New Canadians was your kind of pivot moment because of COVID, or
Yes, because of COVID, because we were able to continue the TV episodes because there were some segments pre-taped and some repeated segments as well, but we couldn't, obviously, during the lockdown, the initial kind of very strict lockdown, we couldn't do any new production. And suddenly, even ourselves, we, as the general public, everyone was lost. What to do next, where to go, and how to survive this moment. I had a mentee from Pakistan who just landed 2 days before the lockdown was. I was helping him online before he came. It was a pre-arrival mentoring program, and he landed 2 days before. We even couldn't meet because of the lockdown. So people like him. I had another friend who had just came a month earlier. He was still preparing to do job search. All these people were kind of confused, lost, right? So we wanted to give them an opportunity to collectively discuss problems and collectively find solutions. And that's how it started initially. And now it's that weekly permanent environment or forum where we can discuss issues or topics that complement the work that immigrant serving agencies like MNLCT are doing, and finding or helping newcomers in one additional avenue.
I think that's just phenomenal, especially, like I said, at a time where, we were all trying to pivot to find, how to reach out to each other, and especially, like you said, during that first wave of the lockdown. Café New Canadians played a really key part in bringing information in a meaningful way to those who are new to the country, who can't get connected to services really quickly. It helps with the isolation. And again, Gerard, hats off to you and all that you've accomplished. That vision to be a voice for newcomers, I think, is one that sits really parallel to the Mennonite New Life Center's mission and vision. And I said it at the top of this. It's you're a kindred spirit in this work. You drive it forward in so many important ways.
Thank you. I really appreciate your words and all your support, as I mentioned before. And you mentioned the cafe. I'll bring one of the cafe panelists. And my friend and my colleague at the Pins, Gabriela. She's been quiet. So Gabriela, thank you for being here today on this special edition of Café New Canadians. I would say to reflect on the past 10 years of my journey in Canada and celebrate it with you and with others, with everyone. I have to mention that Gabriela actually interviewed me for a book. Let me just share my screen to share the book. Gabriela interviewed me for this book, Quiet Lessons for the Introvert Soul, and she captured my story in one of the chapters of the book. And she also interviewed me for a newspaper article, and she has collaborated with me on many activities within the Professional Immigrant Networks program at TRIAC. She's also supported in many other ways, sometimes just a message or a call that kind of directs me to the right perspective, or maybe changes my mood towards the positive. And we've also collaborated in helping one other group of newcomers, writers in this case, to give them a voice and to help them or encourage them to write. And by co-founding or joining her on the journey to establish an association for immigrant writers, the Immigrant Writers Association. So, Gabriela, what questions do you have for me?
First of all, like the other two panelists, I want to congratulate you not only for the 10 years, but more about accomplishments, all the accomplishments that you were able to have all these years. My question for you would be, especially because you're an introvert, how do you juggle with all these puzzles, all these elements of what you're doing? Because you're the founder and you have your own business, New Horizons Media, who provides video services. You have New Canadians TV that it broadcasts all over Canada and the website. You have the other initiative, the Immigrant Writers, not Immigrant Business Expo. So you're doing so many things. How you are able to do all this?
Before answering your question, I would I want to add that Gabriela helped me realize that I'm an introvert. Before I just thought that I'm a shy person, and by realizing that I'm an introvert, being able to use the many strengths that introverts enjoy to serve as tools or resources or support to further help me in my journey, and being able to do all the things that I'm able to do, whether it's helping not-for-profit organizations create content or helping newcomers be on a better track, be more successful, or helping immigrant entrepreneurs connect and network. How do I do this? Obviously, I believe in being in helping others, and that gives me joy, and also that in that way I also help myself by helping others, and with no expectations. I also help myself in some way, right? I have to admit it's not easy, but I also have to admit that while I might be the public face of the work, I have a great colleagues, great team that assist me, and because I'm a big believer in no matter how great idea you have, by collaborating, by working within a team, by sharing the work with others, you make it much bigger. The benefit, the help, the impact. I'm a big believer in collaboration, and many know. And I guess by just using my introvert strengths, as I said, being strategic, being patient, being passionate, and being collaborative and humble, I guess.
And I add another one that I learned from you when I interviewed you. You know how to build genuine relationship. So you, as an introvert, we don't usually go out and meet people, but you have a mission and you put yourself out there and you approach people from that passion that you have. So you can build that connection, and more than that, you start building that relationship. Like you were saying, you give to people, you help others, you give your ideas freely. So I really appreciate the way you build those relationships that help you grow to this level. I still learn from you about this because I'm not so social. And when I saw you doing all these things, and as an introvert, you are able to achieve so much, I'm like, I should go out more often to meet people, not in person necessarily, but connect with people more and help more people, because you show me something that I didn't realize before. It was an amazing discovery for me when you talked about that.
Thank you for mentioning that, and I was kind of curious to know as well what of course I've read the book, I've read my chapter, but I was also curious to hear what other try to kind of read between the lines of what you saw or when you captured my story. And speaking about relationships, I've written some notes of like tips I wanted to mention, and that's one of actually the second tip in my list. Investing in genuine, authentic relationships with no expectations. I call them planting seeds in good soil. If the soil is good, they will grow, and you will harvest somehow down the road. If the soil was not good, obviously that seed will die. But being authentic, being genuine, being expecting nothing in return is important in establishing ourselves professionally, but also it's important in terms of mental health, which is a very important point to me. It's not easy to be an immigrant, to be a newcomer, even after 10 years in Canada. You would have your moments of anxiety, you would have your moments of fear or stress, and when those times come, you need that support. Most immigrants, even whether single or couple, most immigrants come to Canada with no families, and you need to build that family here as well. You need to build a family here. You can't be on your own. You can't be just working, and you need true, genuine friendships and contacts that you can reach out to when you are in need. And I am fortunate and thankful in this area that I was able to build so many good relationships and nurturing them and maintaining them. I was not successful in maintaining some of them, unfortunately, but that's life. But I'm fortunate, and I'm very thankful in having all of you and many other great friends as well around me, just because they are my family here.
I want to add something to exemplify what you just said. One of the questions that I had for you in that interview was, what helped you bounce back from that 1 year and a half at the beginning when you went kind of down? And what you said, it's exactly like that, being out and meeting people and talking to people, and gradually you were able to be yourself again and to trust yourself more and build the rest of your journey. So building genuine relationships, meeting people, talking to people really help you get out of that difficult situation.
Yep. As I mentioned, I was fortunate to in the early days of my journey to have met people like Daisy, like Katrina Belazelkolska from Ryerson, for example, like Shelly, the center as a whole, the Mennonite Life Center. All these individuals, all these organizations helped me realize that I need a medium and long-term strategies to where I want to go and how I want to go, and kind of getting to know the city, getting to know the country, and using that, leveraging that in my strategy. Being also flexible, but also being consistent and strategic. That helped me. I was able to learn some of the lessons that in the initial 18 months that I was struggled. I had struggled. I was able to get some learnings and use those to pay attention around me, to observe people around me, organizations, and see where there was a gap or where there was a need where I could be of value to people, and where I could help people, which area I could.
What is
Sorry?
your name?
My nickname? One of my nicknames is a connector, that I connect people. And I'm happy that I have that nickname. And I always get joy in connecting people, and people, I have connected friends as well who connect me. You all have connected me to other individuals and continue to do so. And one other thing it has have helped me being able to use resources and tools such as the professional immigrant networks, for example, such as volunteering, strategic volunteering, or having formal or informal mentors, have helped me. Myself, I've taken a bridging program when everyone thought that I don't need a bridging program. Have helped me in kind of reconfirming or confirming what I need or what I was doing right, what I needed to improve. Creating opportunities for others have helped me bounce back as well, because it shouldn't be just about me or about you, about oneself. It should be about helping others as well, because as I said, it helps others. Also realizing the importance of mental health and taking care of yourself, whether it's a walk in the park, it's walk on the lakeshore, or owning or having a pet. These all help. It's not about employment. I know most newcomers, they kind of run after getting the job. Like I realize that, but it can't be only about getting a job, because while chasing or trying to get a job, you might lose yourself on the way. So it's very important to take good care of yourself. And one other thing as well that helped me, it happened about 6 months after I moved, and it was not, still things were kind of in a very down situation at that point, I would say. Deciding that I want to embrace Canada as my home, and I am not going back to Dubai, where I used to have a very good job and where my company was still trying to get me back. Of course, in the initial days, you kind of get a dilemma in your mind that should I go back? Should I kind of stay? Am I doing the right thing staying here? But after 6 months, and while I had still not seeing the light end of the tunnel, I decided that this is it, and I will do whatever I can to make it work for me, and for everyone else. So yeah, I mean, if I would summarize, believing in my dreams, believing in what I want and I want to do, I was able to allow the universe to help me to make it happen.
And trust your intuition, like you did.
And yesterday, one of my contacts sent an email as well, and I noticed in the signature a quote that he had put, that the future belongs only to those who believe in their dreams. So I had to believe in my dreams and work on those. Otherwise, no one was going to help me if in the first place, I was not helping myself. So I know 1 hour is a long time, but I realized as well that we kind of reached the end. I'll give you one last round of kind of to share your thoughts, whatever. If you have anything to add, then I'll do a couple of other comments as well on my end. So you can start on my screen from the top left, I would say, Shelly.
Right. In closing, first of all, you sharing what you have here with us today, again, tremendously honored to be part of your story and part of your journey. And I look forward to continuing that this work together and to see what you do next. You are truly an inspiration to many in the field and an inspiration to myself and to my organization. So you're not going to get rid of us so easily anytime soon.
I'm not
with
looking
us.
to. Yeah. I'm so happy to get stuck with all of you people, with people like you. I'm fortunate for that, and I look forward to all the exciting things that we can make happen in the coming months and years to come. Gabriela?
Thank you for inviting me, being part of your memory, down the memory lane. What I like about you is that you continue no matter what. And I would like more people to do that. I like people to trust themselves. They are the same people that they were back home. It's just a different environment and they need to find a way to get into and to move forward. And you did it brilliantly. And I highly encourage everyone to trust in themselves, in their dreams, and move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriela. I'm moving with the order on my screen, so last is Daisy then.
Yes. Well, once again, I want to congratulate you, and I want to thank you so much for inviting me. When I got the email, you see how quickly I responded and said I'll be there, because I could never allow this opportunity to miss me. But I just want to have your audience listen carefully to the things you have said. You struggled, but then you didn't give up. You fell and you bounced. It's not so much about bouncing back, but it's bouncing forward. You use those adversities to propel you to go forward. And the other thing that stuck with me is when you said after 6 months, you decided that Canada was going to be your home. That's important, because many new immigrants come in and they struggle a little bit and they start thinking of back home, what used to happen back home. So that's a very good point that you made. And I just again want to congratulate you, to thank you so much for your friendship and your support. And I wish you well in the next 10 years.
Thank you, all of you. I'm not selfish, and I wanted to share all this advice that I've enjoyed over 10 years, thanks to knowing you. I wanted to share at least some of it in whatever is possible within an hour's time with all the audience of New Canadians in Canada and overseas, and that's why I wanted to kind of use this opportunity. We've approached the holidays to take a pause and reflect on the journey, on the 10 years. Remember the downs and celebrate the ups, and use all these learnings, all these tips to try to chart a better route forward as well, and better, bigger, more collaborations with all of you to help more newcomers here and everywhere. So thank you, all of you, again for joining me on this celebration. I still have to do one more other thank you, and I'll share the screen for that. So thank you to the audience as well for joining us today live on Zoom and on YouTube, and enjoying this 1 hour of advice, of memories, and of tips. I mentioned briefly in the session that I'm fortunate. I'm the public face of New Canadians, or the work I do at New Horizons Media with the parent company at New Canadians. But I won't be where I am today, and I won't be able to do most of the things I'm able to do without the support of a great team, great colleagues that assist me every single step of the way. And I know not all the team is represented here. This image is from the celebration of season 5 of New Canadians TV show on Omni, which was exactly a year and 1 month ago, when we kind of grouped together, and I know Daisy and Gabriela were there as well on that day. I wouldn't have been able to reach where I am today without without a team, without colleagues that was initially very small, who believed in my vision, who believed in what I was trying to do, and helped me every step of the way. And over the years, over time, the team grew, and now even the team is bigger than the image itself, than whoever is. So I want to thank Nassim, Rachel, George, Nigar, Shruti, Lucy, David, Ramon, Khaled, Ahmed, Nicola, Danielle, for everything they've done, and everything that Basuda, Minal, Trudy, Sherdel, Prashant, the current 2 interns from BEMC, Syed and Ali, who are assisting as well, BEMC, the bridging program. I hope I didn't forget anyone. Excuse me if I forgot anyone's name, but I wouldn't be where I am today without the help and the support of a great team. So thank you. Lastly, I mentioned in the earlier at the beginning of the session that Café New Canadians, the virtual chat series, is taking a break over the holidays. So this is the last session of this year. And we'll be back on January 14th, I believe, mid-January, with more topics, more sessions, and more discussions that help newcomers and would-be immigrants be more successful. So all of you, Shelly, Daisy, Gabriela, be ready. Stay tuned for more emails from me asking you to be panelists and sharing your advice. And to wrap up as well, just a reminder of whoever joined us late, that Café New Canadians is brought to you by New Canadians, which is a TV program. It's broadcast on Omni across Canada, and it's also available on the website newcanadians.tv and on YouTube, youtube.com/newcanadians. That's the direct URL. So anytime, always connect to these resources and connect through social media as well, ask questions, follow the newsletter for all the information and resources that we share from our own experiences and from amazing people like Daisy, like Gabriela, like MNLCT, the organization, and Shelly, that support newcomers, because it's not easy as a newcomer, as I mentioned, but there's lots of support and out there that just because they don't know many newcomers, like me, I didn't know initially, they don't use, or they don't use correctly, that could give them the edge, and they would make their journey much more successful instead of struggling at 18 months like me, or 16 months like the other engineer I met in a job fair. Maybe you just struggle 1 month or 2 months, or even you don't struggle at all. So thank you, everyone. I'd be happy that to continue the conversation in the New Canadians Facebook group that you're seeing the URL. So I'll invite all of you to join and ask questions, connect, whatever, and whenever you have any need, feel free to just post it there, and myself or my friends, my contacts, the experts that are part of the New Canadians family would be able to help you. And speaking about that, a very brief note as well. What's some of the things that are coming next year for New Canadians would be one other discussion, online discussion program to be launched in March, and a weekly segment that I'd have on our YouTube channel to answer direct questions from newcomers and would-be immigrants. So stay tuned for all these announcements. And thank you again, Shelly, Daisy, Gabriela. Thank you to the audience, and thank you to Team New Canadians for this session and for all the work you do. So take care, enjoy the holidays, and stay safe. And hopefully we will be able to make 2021 a much better year than this year.